Money is not just about math. It's about psychology. And whether you realize it or not, you already have a money personality that quietly decides if you'll end up rich, broke, or somewhere in between. Think of it like a hidden operating system in your brain. You can have two people making the same salary, but one retires early, and the other is still making payments on a sofa they bought in 2017. So today, let's break down the 4 money personalities: the spender, the saver, the investor, the giver. And by the end, you'll know exactly which one you are. And more importantly, how to avoid being the broke version of yourself. The spender. If money burns a hole in your pocket faster than you can earn it, congratulations, this one's for you. Spenders live by one golden rule: if I have it, I'll spend it. They're not necessarily irresponsible. They just genuinely believe that money exists to be enjoyed. Why save for tomorrow when there's a new iPhone today? But here's the problem. Spenders fall victim to something called lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle inflation is the reason your 25-year-old coworker is always broke, even after getting promoted 3 times. It's why your uncle, who used to live in a small apartment, now lives in a bigger house, drives a bigger car, and still complains about bills. Every time income goes up, lifestyle goes up to match it. Raise equals new car payment. Bonus equals designer handbag. Promotion equals upgraded apartment with rent that eats the promotion. To a spender, budget is basically a horror movie. They don't want to be the person eating beans and rice at home when they could be at a restaurant ordering the second most expensive steak on the menu. And society loves spenders. Companies run billion-dollar advertising campaigns just for them. Instagram was practically invented for them. The spender is the engine of the consumer economy. Without them, half the luxury brands on earth would collapse tomorrow. But while spenders look rich on the outside, the danger is they often stay poor on the inside. If you always spend to match your income, you never actually build wealth. You just become a hamster running on an upgraded, shinier wheel. Now, this doesn't mean being a spender is all bad. In fact, spenders are usually the most fun people to be around. They know how to enjoy life. They make the best memories. They're the friend who says, "Let's just do it. We'll figure out the money later." The problem is when later actually comes. Because later comes with debt collectors, maxed out credit cards, and the horrifying realization that your retirement plan is just hope you win the lottery. Here's the good news. If you're a spender, you don't have to completely change who you are. You just need a system that protects you from, well, yourself. Practical fix. Use forced saving. Set up automatic transfers the second you get paid. That way, money disappears before you even see it, and you can spend the rest guilt-free. Another hack is the 24-hour rule. Before buying something expensive, wait one day. If you still want it tomorrow, fine, but you'll be surprised how many must-have things magically become May 24 hours later. Because at the end of the day, the spender doesn't need to stop spending. They just need to spend smarter, on things that bring real joy, not just temporary flexes. The saver. If the spender is the life of the party, the saver is the one calculating how much the party is costing and quietly judging you for ordering that extra cocktail. Savers live by one law: don't waste money. And at first glance, this seems smart. They're the ones with no credit card debt, the ones who clip coupons, the ones who buy generic brand cereal even though they can afford the real thing. Savers are safe, disciplined, and usually financially secure. But their weakness: fear of spending. To a saver, money isn't freedom, it's security, and spending feels like a threat to that security. So they hoard cash, avoid risk, and sometimes miss out on opportunities. They'll drive the same car until the wheels literally fall off. They'll avoid vacations because plane tickets are too expensive. They'll eat at home every night, not because they love cooking, but because the thought of tipping a waiter gives them chest pain. And while spenders risk never building wealth, savers risk something just as bad: never actually enjoying their wealth. In economics, this is called the paradox of thrift. Saving is good until it becomes excessive. Because hoarding money without using it for growth or life experiences just means you die with a big bank account and a lifetime of missed memories. So what's the fix for a saver? It's not to start blowing money. It's to budget for joy. Literally set aside money each month specifically for fun, guilt-free spending. That way, you protect your security but also give yourself permission to live. Because here's the truth: money is a tool. If all you do is save it, you're basically just collecting hammers and never building anything. The investor. Now we arrive at the third personality, the investor. If the spender focuses on today and the saver obsesses over tomorrow, the investor plays the long game. Investors look at money like seeds. Plant them right, and they grow into trees that give fruit for the rest of your life. Instead of asking, "What can I buy with this money?" the investor asks, "How can I make this money multiply?" They buy stocks, real estate, index funds, or even start businesses. While spenders get dopamine from shopping bags and savers get peace from a full bank account, investors get joy from watching their net worth graph go up and to the right. But let's be clear, not every investor is Warren Buffett. Some investors gamble in crypto, YOLO into meme stocks, and convince themselves it's strategy. True investors understand time is the secret weapon. They let compounding do the heavy lifting. That's the investor's mindset. Patience, not instant gratification. Now, investors aren't perfect either. Their weakness is overconfidence. They can get obsessed with numbers and forget that life exists outside of their portfolio. Sometimes they become so focused on growth that they miss the simple pleasures savers and spenders actually enjoy. The practical fix? Balance. The best investors build systems, automatic investing, diversified assets, and a long-term plan. But they also take time to use money for life, not just spreadsheets. The giver. Finally, we have the giver, the person who treats money less like a personal asset and more like a community project. The giver lives by this rule: if I have it, I should share it. And honestly, they're probably the nicest people on this list. They donate to charities, help family members in need, tip extra at restaurants, and sometimes give so much that you start wondering if they're secretly trying to buy sainthood. On the surface, being a giver sounds like the ultimate money personality. Who doesn't want to be known as generous? Who doesn't want to be remembered as the person who made a difference? But here's the catch: givers can also be broke. Because while spenders blow money on themselves, givers blow money on everyone else. They'll cover dinner for friends, even when their own credit card is crying for mercy. They'll give to every GoFundMe, every charity drive, every kid selling chocolate bars outside the supermarket. And before long, they're broke with nothing left to give. The danger for givers is forgetting the oxygen mask rule. Put yours on first before helping others. If you drain yourself financially, you can't sustain generosity in the long run. And sometimes, givers don't just give money, they give in to guilt. Family asks for a loan they'll never see again. Friends expect them to pick up the tab. Suddenly, generosity stops being a choice and starts being a burden. So, how do you fix this? Simple. Structured generosity. Set aside a budget for giving. That way, you can be generous without sabotaging yourself. Bill Gates donates billions through a foundation. But trust me, he's not handing out 20s at gas stations. Because true giving isn't about draining yourself. It's about creating impact that lasts. And you can only do that if you're financially strong first. Conclusion. So, which money personality are you? The truth is, most of us are a mix of all four. The real goal isn't to change who you are, it's to balance it. Spend enough to enjoy life, save enough to feel secure, invest enough to grow, and give enough to actually make an impact. Because at the end of the day, money isn't the finish line. It's the tool that decides the kind of life you get to live. If you learned something today, don't just scroll away. Hit that subscribe button, drop a comment with your money personality, and share this with a friend who really needs to hear it. Trust me, their wallet will thank you later.